There is a lot of conversation around Gen Z entrepreneurs, and whatever it is that you believe about those narratives, we'll leave that to you. However, one thing is for sure they are excellent entrepreneurs across every age group. Today, I'm in conversation with one of the remarkable young entrepreneurs of the city of Birmingham, Amani Zubair, who is the founder of Tresor, and interestingly, she's got Lord Sugar as a business partner. Amani, you're welcome to the show.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Awesome. I look forward to a conversation because it's quite exciting. So, first of all, before we get into the nitty gritty stuff, tell us a bit about yourself. How has your journey evolved and what is it that you do primarily?
So, I am a jewellery business owner, and I started Tresor from my bedroom when I was 17. And it was very different to what I have now. The jewellery was not the same, but I was very inspired by my South Asian culture. And I really loved gold. And I think it's something that is important to most people of colour. We all kind of grow up with gold being gifted to us or being a big part of our culture, the way we look, the way we are, our history. So for me, I loved seeing like my grandmother's gold bangles and things like that. But I was 17. I was not allowed to leave the house in real gold jewellery. I wasn't trusted. They wouldn't let it happen. And I really wanted to bring something to market that looked exactly like that, felt like that, gave you that luxurious feel, but that people like me could afford and could also, walk around with and like be safe.
So, that's how the business Trezor was born.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. That's how Tresor was born, and it's evolved a lot over the years. Like it's coming on to 4 years since I started now.
So, you've been an entrepreneur for 4 years. Talk to me about the evolution of that business. So, what did it start as? Where were you selling? Were you going to stores? Was this online? And what is it today?
Yeah, so I would say probably for a bit longer than that. Before I did Tresor, my thing was I was website designing and I was also reselling clothes on Depop, and that's how I got the money to start Tresor in the first place. But with Tresor, it was always online straight away because I knew that was where I wanted to be. I really wanted to position myself in a place where
That
I
felt
could.
natural.
Yeah, it felt natural. Like I really wanted to be where it sounds silly, but like where the lazy option was. Like I don't want to stand up in a shop all day and sell the jewelry. Like I wanted to figure out what can I do that is low effort. At the time, you think it's low effort. It's not, but low effort. Well, what feels like low effort, and kind of what I can do from being sat in my bedroom, and that's kind of why I chose to go down the online route.
And that's quite interesting because I pick up from one of the words that used that something that felt easy, something that felt natural, a bit of low effort.
Yeah,
And that feeds into this narrative that is out there in the public domain about the Gen Z generation.
yeah.
These are young people, they could care less about nothing, they don't want to do anything. There's so many things out there, some positive, some negative. What have you heard? What is true and what is that's not right?
So I know there's a lot of kind of. Do you know what? I don't think it's a thing against Gen Z. I think we're one of the younger generations, and typically your older generations look at you guys like, oh, you young people, like you do things a completely different way. And because we do things in a totally different way, that's not natural to you, like your gen or even the gen above you. It can look like. Okay, actually that's just lazy, but it's not. It's like work smart, not hard. We don't want to work hard, but we still want good things, and there are ways around that. I think this for my parents' generation, it was study, 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 go to work all day, work long hours, be a lawyer, be a doctor, like that kind of thing. And for us, it's like we have so much choice now, so much choice that we can do anything. So I get why it can seem that, we're the lazier generation, but I don't think it's that much of a bad thing.
And it's quite interesting, right? Because you reference so much choice, and I think that that's where it comes from. There's a lot of choice, there's a lot of option, and I think in previous generations there was one way to do it.
Yeah.
You study hard, and then if you choose to start a business, you learn the space, you begin to build gradually. But in today's day and age, with the advantages that technology gives us,
Yeah.
there's so much that we can do with technology and so many types of new businesses we could start whose scripts didn't exist about 10, 15 years ago. So I guess that's where it comes from. But then talk to me about the idea of wanting to start a business and, I don't want to do much. I just want to do a little bit, make good money and be fine. And the real experience of being
Yeah.
an entrepreneur. So what was the thinking going into it? And today, is that still the same or did you find some rude awakening in the process?
I wouldn't say it was a rude awakening. I think going into it, you are somewhat prepared for this is going to be hard work, but you go into it with a thought that it's going to be difficult now in order for it to be easier later. So for me, it was every day pick and packing, obviously doing it from my bedroom, making the jewelry at the time, all the marketing, all the everything pretty much, because you wear all the hats when you first start a business. But gradually, as I'm getting into it, we make more income. Okay, you hire a specialist. Okay, you hire someone to pack the parcels. Like that was my thought process of, okay, it's not going to be great right now, but it will be. And I always feel that way. And as much as we grow and as much as we expand, I always find another way to be lazy, like every single time. It's like, what am I doing right now that I'm like, I don't want to do it. What can I do to not do it? You know, it's like finding solutions for your problems is kind of what I wasn't so good at when I first started. Because I would just think, oh, okay, no, it's fine, I'll do it, or you know, this is not a problem, or but it would be a problem. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I totally get it, because
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that a lot of people miss is the fact that with all the options that technology presents to us today, there's so many things that used to feel like huge parts of the business, like major work that you have to do as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
A lot of those things have been simplified with technology,
Mhm.
only if you are diligent enough to learn the technology and to automate those processes. Because then, like you said, it's finding new ways to be lazy.
Yeah.
This used to take up a lot of my time. Now I'm looking for new technologies that can simplify that so that I could focus on the things that are more important. Which leads me to my next question, which is around what are the things that you think that Gen Z entrepreneurs find almost natural, they take to it naturally, that a lot of older generation entrepreneurs need to pay more attention to?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So two things that come to mind straight away: social media, first of all, and also AI. And I think both sound really daunting, really scary to people who are like my parents' age, or you know, they just think, what? Like, I've no idea what either of those two things are. Social media has been incredible for my business. It's been incredible for my personal brand. It got me where I am, and it's like somewhat free. I know people say it's free organic exposure, but obviously you put the time and the effort into it. But it's like you can have results that you couldn't imagine you could have with paid advertisement. Social media, if you have a business and you are not on social media, you're making a huge mistake. Any type of business, like I know solicitors who've got a soliciting, like, you know, a firm, and they're on TikTok and they're, you know, giving free advice. Or for us, it's like we have our jewelry and we show what it's like and we show styling it so people can see what it looks like on. There are so many ways to utilize social media, and there are so many platforms that I know it can feel overwhelming, but just pick one and just get on it. You know, like I feel like every single person has, we've had this conversation, like this is what I do to everyone. I make everybody use social media because it's such a great tool. And I think it's severely underrated in the older generations.
I think so too, because you know it's come along really well, and it's really become a key platform through which businesses can reach new audiences,
Yeah.
communicate effectively, and make money. And speaking of which, let's dig a bit into that. Is
Okay.
TikTok still, you know, the social media app for dancing 13-year-olds?
Absolutely not. And it hasn't been for a long time. It hasn't been for a long time. I joined TikTok early 2019, kind of. So from then, that's where it really started expanding. Like I was in just as it was kind of changing. And I think businesses really started to take advantage of it. People with personal brands grew to like millions and millions of followers during lockdown, all off the back of just posting videos. And as much as people will look at it, it's like, oh, like dancing. My For You page doesn't have a single dancer on it. And it's very niche. The algorithm is amazing. It really puts you in front of the right people. And it's like, there's such a smart software behind it that it's just silly if you don't take advantage if you're not on the app. Because if I, like, for example, my personal brand, I post business tips, mindfulness, entrepreneurship, all that kind of stuff. So that's all I see. That's all I see. And all the people that see my videos, that's what they want to see. That's why they're being shown it. But if they wanted to see dance videos, they wouldn't see my videos. Do you know what I mean? It's all sectioned off kind of thing. Like, yeah, you can go and search for those dance videos if you want to, but if you haven't kind of trained your TikTok to be showing you that, you won't see it.
Absolutely, and I think that that's very instrumental, particularly for entrepreneurs, millennials, baby boomers, or whatever generation it is that you identify as. There's so much happening, particularly with a platform like TikTok that we've just talked about. There is so much happening to the degree that even the biggest businesses in the world, biggest business influencers in the world, now have TikTok accounts and they have massive following on there.
Yeah.
Have you seen the same trend?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think There's quite a trend of hustle culture at the moment, and very much business mindedness, entrepreneurship. I think since lockdown there was a massive rise in entrepreneurship, and that's translated into social media with so many business based accounts growing huge, like huge followings.
Absolutely. And I think that the key word there is distribution.
Yeah.
Because distribution is one of the key things in business. And what it does is it allows you to take your products or your service and take it to new heights, new customers, people that you never ever would have been able to interact with directly. I think it's really phenomenal. And thank you for being one of the people that keep pushing that frontier and getting everybody to wake up.
Get everybody on TikTok.
All right, let's switch gears a bit and go to one thing that I think is very, very fascinating. I was taken slightly aback when you told me that Lord Sugar was your business partner, and I think one of the first questions that I asked is, did you participate in The Apprentice? So you weren't a part of The Apprentice. How is it that you got this man to become this massive celebrity entrepreneur to become, your business partner? Tell us the story. We want the scoop.
I don't know. You know what? People always ask me this question, and it's like, I actually just don't know how I did it. I just sent a couple of emails, and I really kind of...
A couple of emails is how many emails?
Quite a few emails. I just was like this crazy lady, like I want to talk to him, and somehow I managed to get through. And then he was like, come down to Loughton, like let's meet. And then I went and walked away with the investment.
Interesting. So it happened in one meeting.
Yeah. I met him once, yeah. Well, the first time I met him, yeah.
Interesting. And how old were you when this happened?
I was, I think 18 when I started to... I was 19 when I got the investment.
You were 19 when you got the investment.
Yeah.
And how's that, business partnership been? How's that relationship been? Do you guys talk all the time? How does that evolve?
Bessies. No, I think it's really early days. It's really early days. I think I'm barely 2 years in, and it's been a journey for sure. It's been a lot of development and a lot of kind of spending the investment on trying to figure out what works, because it was very different when it was just me, and the processes were different, the way that we do things are different, the systems were different, and kind of having them on board has been quite a bit of an adjustment. And also it's given me the chance to be able to invest the money in things that are like, paid ads or machinery and things like that, which I wouldn't have done before. So I think, I don't know, it's been a journey, and it's one that I'm still on, and it's work in progress.
So exploring growth possibilities.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that sticks out for me in that story is the fearlessness or audacity that I think is a major trait and a very positive one that new generation entrepreneurs seem to have. Because, for my generation, for example, we were schooled in the process of, you've got to be very cautious, you've got to be very... But I think there's an audacity, which is a very, very good thing for younger entrepreneurs. And one of the other things that I wanted to touch on is, you've had this engagement with him, and I'm sure that you probably have other people, that you've learned from in business. Talk to me about the role of mentorship as a young entrepreneur.
So I think, like what you said as well, it ties in with this sense of shamelessness. I don't have a fear of approaching anyone to ask for help, and I like to... It sounds silly, but I like to be the dumbest person in the room, if you know what I mean. I like to know the least, because I am open to absorb from anywhere and everywhere. I learn new things every day. I absorb so much from so many different people that I never sort of had just the one mentor. I just kind of like, look at the world as my mentor, you know what I mean? You kind of just take everything from everywhere. You're listening on everything. Whatever anyone's got to say, you hear them out. And that's kind of how I incorporated mentorship into my life. And with obviously having the partnership, I have access to them. I have access to their team of accountants and like finance people, and numbers stuff and boring stuff I can learn from them, and everything else, like anybody, I learn it from pretty much.
Absolutely. Mentorship, very, very important, and I'm glad that that has come through with your story as well. Let's talk very quickly as we begin to wrap up about your business. So you've told us that it's a jewelry business.
Yeah.
If you were to describe the uniqueness of the business today, what is it that you're going to say? What's unique about Tresor?
So it's jewelry that looks and acts like real gold. So you can wear it in the shower, the beach, the pool, wherever you want to wear it. And it doesn't do, well, you probably won't understand, but when you're a girl, you love jewelry, you love sparkly things, right? But sometimes you go out and you buy some jewelry and you sweat a little bit and it leaves a nasty green mark on your finger, or it might stain your skin. Or if it's got really horrible materials, it'll give you a rash and you'll have an allergic reaction. My jewelry is made to combat pretty much all of that. It's made to be worn. It doesn't give you those nasty green marks. It doesn't fade. It stays golden for like up to 3 years. And it's pretty much, you know, the most durable, the best quality, the most luxurious at the best prices. Everything is super affordable.
Fantastic. And where for those that are watching, where can they find you?
You can find us at Shop Tresor on all social media platforms and also shoptresor.co.uk.
Okay, the last question I'm going to ask you before I let you go. If you could go back and do it all over again, what would you do differently?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. You know what? I feel like it's silly, but entrepreneurs actually, we love the struggle. Like we love it because I feel like there's no other way to learn. We don't learn traditionally. I'm a dropout. I didn't finish uni. I couldn't learn that way. I couldn't learn from a book. And my mum, my whole life has always said that you just learn from doing what you're told not to do anyway. So just go and do something and learn from it that way. And I think that's, you know, that's just how I've done it, and I wouldn't change a thing. Even though there's been times where it's super difficult, I know that all of those things have led me to the point where I'm at now, and I wouldn't be at the point where I'm at now if I hadn't made all those mistakes. You know?
Fantastic. I think that's a fantastic place to wrap up this segment of the show. It's been a very, very interesting conversation, Amani. It's great to have you, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Stay tuned. We've got more to come.